First of all, I just want to say thank you, God. Um, Thank you, God, for showing me what I need to see, so I don't lose the sense of who I am, and don't internalize this nasty manipulation, it was never gonna happen. But the best part today is, unfortunately, it's not even the best because what I've been aware of shows the level of evilness this low life are part of, and the disgusting entitlement that they thought they're gonna Jedi mind trick me to like negate that is amazing. Even right now, they still try to do that. Um, it's been proven that what they do and what the part this program does, inclusive of abusing children, in disgusting matters. The low life around me who's been trying to cover up this deserve to die just for covering up this evil that they're part of. You know, they wanted to, they use a lot of like gaslighting, and a lot of those who gaslight are some like female gender individual, and they have this entitlement. You know, I'm listening to this woman describing how her child is being tortured, a 3-year-old toddler, talking about suffering every day in different fashion. And to hear this perp who wanted me to internalize this manipulation, be like, oh, we have nothing, huh? And I'm like, I have nothing? I'm the one who have nothing in regard to what you guys do. They use this low life to disorient you as a target individual. Their job is to to block out the reality of what this is. What they're trying to do is to block out how they're involved in something that harm from the youngest child, the little girls to little boys, in horrible ways. Torture these children in diabolical ways, blinding them, seizuring them, burning them, giving all kind of condition and diseases that destroys them mentally and physically, damage them. And you hear this trash wanting to cover that up. Now at this point, for me, my rage is not only about what they're doing to me today, but what they try to cover up and what they're part of. They purposely utilize this trash who think they're gonna overwhelm me. For me, for example, this trash says something that I can't says, there's a try to bring up whatever ideas a child that try to exaggerate as I'm listening to what they do to children. And they're like, we have nothing. I was like, oh, let me guess. The people who torture children like that, who burn genitals of children, who make this baby sick. Yeah, I do know how horrible you guys are to children, because thanks to Target Justice versus Garland, some of the plaintiffs were children. Thanks to Mariana, thanks to Catherine Nestor, I know how mean you are to children. So when I face this low life, who use this entitled low life, I promise you, they're not gonna normalize the horrible things they do to children. Not with me. That's what today, they used to say they're not scared. Today they know that their Jedi mind trick that would supposed to make me forget how horrible they are to children was gonna be, they were gonna be able to remove that. Listen, with me, what they wanted to paint themselves as like this justice seekers, protectors of children, when in reality they're protecting how they want to be perceived by covering up the torture of children. And they use this low life who have spent so much effort to silence these horrible things they do to children. The theatrics, the gimmicks, the acting has been so disgusting. To me, they're terrible acting. This like anger, like, oh yeah, it's like you just want to cover up this baby who's 3 years old, who's being tortured every day. And you think you talk like that's gonna cover that up? You're not gonna do that. I promise you. I promise you. I swear to God, if that's how I die, that's why I'm gonna die. I promise you it's not gonna happen that way. That's my purpose. Your purpose right now is to cover that up. It's okay. Keep that purpose. I want you to have that purpose. But my purpose is the second you see me, you acknowledge that I know what you guys do to children. That what you're trying to cover up has not been. The reason why they try to cover that up is because they want me to internalize this manipulation. But when you have this on your jacket, understanding that you are involved in something where 3-year-olds are being tortured like that, what does it look like? When you're involved in something where children are being tortured and abused in this fashion, what does it look like? Forget about the validation that they can manipulate the brain in this way. Just the fact that torturing children is part of what they're involved in. I promise you that you have not been able to erase that. And they use these losers that are nothings. They just want to disown me enough to forget that these governmental entities contract this trash to cover up the horrible things they do to babies and women. Some of them have participated in that. Now I'm going to be trashed by these governmental entities that contract this trash. But the gimmick, the little persona they've created, the way they've been behaving to try to react, to try to counter reality, I promise you that I will never internalize this manipulation, especially coming from people who are negating, silencing this horrible tortures that is applied onto children. Now come and behave this way. If it's for you worth to go down like that on your gaslighting, if gaslighting is what takes you to death, I'm there for you. And I'm talking to this perps. Target Vigil, do not internalize these things. Do not internalize these things and understand you are a target individual who can be manipulated in these disgusting ways. For me, when they do this manipulation, and I'm going to show it, they try to make me think, now we're matching to you when you're a good trash. As you're just changing my brain accordingly. You who's involved in something that tortured children, that abused children. And it's been proven that you harm children. It's the best part is like when they're like, oh, we proved it. To who? To people who don't know you guys torture children? The truth is, everybody knows what this program is. They love this program. Target Vigil, don't get. Most of these people that does these things to you, that behave this way, they know that what they're involved in consists of technology that's so advanced that control human beings like puppets. And they all understand and enjoy the ability to manipulate a human being this way and make them experience this. The theatrics, some of them can't even laugh. I was like, okay, it's so clear that they're just like, oh, it's you, oh my gosh, we matched it. And this is what they're involved in. They know that this program is torturing children. They're just normalizing that. That's just sad. Sometimes they fake tear. It's like, oh, okay. They just have made it normal that in this program, unfortunately, we're torturing children in this way. That's just part of it. That's life. But it's fun. And then we meet like, oh, with you, we're not doing this thing, this torture, this psychological torture. We're matching to you as a job. Hey, when I heard torturing, burning children, 3-year-old toddlers tormented. I was like, oh, good try. And they're like, oh, and once I go try, they try to flip it something else, but I'm going to stick to this, the children. And they want me to be like, oh, everybody knows. Like, everybody knows what you guys do. I'm going to listen to, everybody's listening to what I'm listening to, right? You want me to take off my headphones, listen to a 3-year-old toddler banging her head to the floor? You want to hear that? And how mean you guys are, and how unfair it is that 3-year-old toddlers are being tortured. They don't know that. Everybody knows that. I don't even, this is not exposure. Everybody, you knew that even before I knew that. You think it's not obvious that you just act this way, like this radical rage? Oh yeah, where's the rage when you hear this? Huh? Where's the rally when you hear 3-year-old being tortured every day? Clown. I'll be framed by people who harm babies, who abuse them, that contract this trash who's supposed to recreate this program that tortured infants in this way. To the mothers participating that, to the fathers participating that, you're not going to cover up reality. You have children. In one of my videos, you'll see. They manipulate your brain to have these experiences, and they're like, oh, we just match it. It's part of, it's mind control when they involve in a program where they burn children's genitals. So imagine your child as a father, as a mother, seeing your child suffer like that, like the HF, seeing her tortured like that. No, you can't imagine that. But hey, The matching and the matching, pairing, and everything, making trash ass. Like I'm gonna allow these clowns because they have kids to cover up this. They should be the first one on the front saying stop torturing children in this program. Stop abusing children in this program. They should be the first one to say this is destroying life of babies. But what they do, they come in here, it's like hold their kids out for our babies. Trash, you torture babies for your babies? No, you covering up babies being tortured by showing your child and then manipulate the brain and be like, now we're protecting the trash ass. Ran by pedophiles, by the way. Saying this teenage trash who's supposed to be this researcher, the most retards impossible, like the stupidity. They're the Michael Jordan of pushing somebody into mental retardation. Now for me, like I say, I'm gonna stay wise. I don't care if some coworker in this industry gaslighting me who think that her gender entitles her to act this way. I don't care if there's some next door neighbor who think her childishness is gonna cover that. I don't care if this person's use all of the woke-like verbiage to try to cover that up. I don't care if some racist participant involved in that. I don't care if a mother think that because she's a mother she can be involved in this and her nurturing mother facade is going to cover that up. Never. I don't care if some opportunist that makes benefit from being involved in that help him acquire more clientele. No. This wise wisdom that I have, it's not even wisdom. It's not even being wise. It's just common sense. It's going to remain. And your Jedi mind trick that will make me think, okay, just to block out how mean and evil we are to these children. Please just block that up. Pay! Fuck out of here. That's the kind of things they do. We're matching. Now you're changing my brain, and then you try to make me think that you're protecting children in a program where nope. I understand. They have fun because at the end of the day, I'm helpless in regard to how they're gonna play with my brain. It's over. They're gonna make my brain experience what they want. These people who torture children, and they're gonna send a retard like, "No, we're matching. You match the torturers, you piece of shit. You match the psychological torture." That's why you all try to compensate with the torture. They tell me how I'm going to be theatrically tortured. When I mean theatrical, it means that the torture will be happening, but for the purpose of just like theatrically show, like if you're going to be tortured in this terrible way, we're not doing that to you. It's just the rage that we discover this thing that this you, we don't manipulate you. And us who do involve ourselves in the program that harm babies, like you heard, are protecting children, and we're gonna torture you worse than how we torture children because we hate you, because you is. I'll run to that theatrics, but these people want to play this theatric in front of me. I'm saying that over and over and over. It's not threatening. It's something that I need to stick with. They've been so discredited. The facade of being children protectors have been so discredited, dismantled. It's horrible. They've been throwing at me the most retards, the Michael Jordan of retardation, to try to discern me, to make me think people who literally do these harmful things to children. What do you think they would do to somebody's brain? And with me, they'll be like, no, but in your brain, if you go back to you as a child and this and that, that's it, there's a trash ass in my brain. Fuckers who are here torturing brains of 3-year-old. Who abuse children in this way. Who don't even want to call what they do to children abusive. When children are being burnt. Send this trash with their different ways of just using this entitlement of wokeness. Involved in a program where abusing children in this way, where it's sexual torture, mental torture, physical torture, all kind of horrible abusive things they do to babies. I promise you, for these abuses that you refuse to call abuse, from the burnings, the tortures, the blinding, the seizures, all these mean things, to these opportunities entitled ones. Come with your tantrum. I will bring out these abusive things that you've been covering up, negating as the negator that you are. There's a reason why they use this childish individual. They thought that the entitlement was going to cover that up. I swear to God, I will stay wise, regardless of who is the opportunist involved in them, in this coward lowlife that can do these evil things from afar. It's okay if I'm alone in this. This is honorable. This feels like a martyr, like I'm doing this for it's such an honorable. My suffering is not in vain. My suffering is for, they wanted to cover the whole of what they're part of with extreme sufferings, because this makes children suffer. They've been utilizing some of the Michael Jordan of retards to try to disown me. This teen trash who are known in this program to even sometimes mock the sufferings of children, to break the mother and the parents psychologically. Having these clowns to be like, yeah, they believe us. Yeah, let me listen to who believes me. Who listen to a baby rotting. Oh, sorry, just being damaged physically and psychologically. Send this trash. You know, I always start the videos by saying, thank you, God. It is so easy to do what this trash do. What if I had the option now and be involved in this and just somehow get involved in something and even maybe participate in some of the tortures of these children, and because this is what normal is, and then try to make somebody feel guilty about what he did as a kid and try to make him subscribe to this manipulations like, now we're matching to you, yeah, pay when I'm involved, and maybe even have participated in torturing children. I would have killed myself. This abuse and tortures of children will not go. Thank you, Tiger Vigil. I don't say thank you for. Unfortunately, what I'm saying is, I don't want to. I wish there was no children being tortured. But it ties everything in when you realize these people that torture children, who do that to somebody's brain, it goes hand to hand. If they can, are capable of forcing you to have these disgusting experiences, they can clearly harm children. It means there's nothing too low. If an infant needs to be tortured to psychologically torment the target individual, they will do it. You know, as I say, hands, they're like, he used her hand, trash. They torture genitals of children and do other things, executing them while they try to create these fantasized things of what I did as a child. That's reality. It doesn't even faze me at this point, because who's talking about using their hands? I try to cover up a 3-year-old being tortured, and I put that in their face over and over, because unlike me, this little shit here, these perps, do have a life that they can live. They choose to be these Michael Jordans of this disgustingness. And so I love to put that in their faces, because I know, like, do you think you're going to move forward and live a normal life when you put so much effort in covering up tortures of children? Let me bless you. I don't put weight on what this trash are around me. I understand they're nothings. They love this thing. There's just nobodies. The government praise every time they do these things where they're covering up. It's like their duty is to cover up reality. They were calling themselves the negators happily for negating the torture of children. Today, I don't hear them calling themselves. I think they kind of start processing, like, calling ourselves negators, because we negate the tortures and the testimonials of children and women. It doesn't sound so child protective like. So I haven't heard the negators call themselves negators again, because they have to maintain that facade. But they enjoy this. They know their duty. They need to negate this. They call themselves the right word. That's what they're supposed to be doing. But I'm not going to let them negate so they can make me internalize this nastiness. They're going to be accountable for what they're part of. Understand that this even validates the fact that they'll clearly manipulate the brain this way. And their gender, their age, their job, their parent status didn't cover that up. It was the typical things they use to try to normalize horrible things that even happen to children. And keep sending these retards that even were taking pride in calling themselves negators, and now I guess things got clear to them. It's like, okay, it's part of it. Doesn't look good when we call ourselves negators, because in the context of what they're negating, it's not a good look. But hey, negators, that didn't work. Okay. As always, what they do, I'm gonna show these people who are, which is fate that they've become negators of torturing children, which that's what they say with me. It's like, now with you it's fate. I was like, yeah, and it's fate that you're supposed to negate. This is the purpose. They use this childlike individual to try to cover that up, and so I'm like, let me show what fate have done. Has made this low life negators of sexual tortures of children, and made me this wise person. Let me show you the manipulation that they're just matching these people who negate harm of children, and make sure I put that in their faces. If they want to gaslight me in person, I have a whole, I create a playlist of gaslighting baits, because I want them to come and gaslight me, because these people who negate the suffering of children, I think they can make somebody subscribe to this. And well, guess what will happen if they do that? Like I say, I'll oblige them. If they want to live and die by gaslighting, let's go. Now let me show you what happens here. You see this little kid over there on this in the background? They start stimulating me this immediately. And matter of fact, they try to create these thoughts, which I'll bring up. But this is an example. They start from the back of the head. I thought that was a little boy, but this kid, when she was like a child, this adorable baby. And to try to create mental patterns, like, oh, boys is not real. So what you just saw is the example, especially the kid in the jewelry store. They're like, yeah, no, the little girl is true. And they were trying to make me imagine like biting the chicks. You know how like adorable kids like have like big chick, try to change that into like biting, and then like, oh, you know, like with like a big chicks. Try to do that, but create sexual stimulation with that, like concocting stimulation. And then this guy's like, yeah, you're no longer, huh? These people who torture children. It's like, you no longer torture children? Okay, so now that you no longer torture children, I think you're now manipulating my brain. Talking about you gotta be strong. Whatever they can do to your brain your brain needs to be manipulated this way. But it's coming from people who harm infants, children. Who then is like, yeah, you're no longer, it's not you anymore. It's like, wait, you guys no longer torture children? Is that why you send this Michael Jordan of retardation? Who's so good at being theatric? Is that why the honking is done? They prove that they don't torture children. Which means they prove they don't manipulate the brain. They're mapping the brain. They're changing people's brain to make them have these experiences. And these trash who are involved in torturing children can make it look like they're protecting children. And send this Michael Jordan of fucking retardation to try to gaslight you into internalizing that. Until they face you in real time and they're like, oh, this guy is not going that way. Maybe we who torture children didn't convince him that we're not manipulating the brain. Target Vigil, find yourself lucky. You could live life trying to convince people to accept manipulation of this nature while torturing children, or while covering up the torture of children, while being involved in something that abused children in so many disgusting ways. Working for governmental entities where people need to protect children from them. Then send this trash who are groomed, trained, understanding that my childishness can be utilized to push somebody into stupidity. For all these children suffering, I will refuse to allow these fuckers to even fantasize that they got close to make me subscribe to this. I understand my brain's gonna be manipulating these degrading ways. People who are capable or are torturing children will make me have this experience, and will concoct whatever experiences in my mind they can make me have. And I have accepted the harsh reality that as I've become a target individual since August 19, 2019, dealing with V2K, I will never be myself. I will be a puppet that they can make me experience however they want. They love that. They love that they control human beings like toys. And I find strength to endure this nasty manipulation however it goes. But I will never give them the satisfaction of even having a doubt of me not being manipulated. I understand that. I've been so strong in understanding that. I'm becoming strong. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for giving me strength. Now give me strength for what horrible torture I'm going to deal with, because this trash want to overcompensate for how humiliating it is that they clearly are the people who torture people in this way, psychologically and physically, and torture babies. Right now, they make me think of when all this thing started, how, you know, obviously I was not as strong as I am today because this is something new that's being forced onto you. But today, with years of understanding that I'm a target individual, with years understanding that this is the tactics of torturing and breaking somebody psychologically, try to make somebody see themselves in a different fashion. And today, hearing this trash who have to cover up and negate and call themselves negators for torturing children because they want me to internalize that. It's just so easy. It's so easy to become strong. My self-image, no matter how they try to paint it, I love myself. But I will no longer be myself. Stay strong.